So this is the last section, and it's all you need to know for the exam. We've covered it all. The last piece is just having a Boolean value in between. So we need to pick our way through this quite carefully. Again, I've just chosen all the fields from student, and now I'm looking at where the first name is like, starts with a letter, one single letter, and has anything. So if we go here and look at starts with any letter, then has an and anything, we're looking at Jane, we're looking at Janet, we're looking at Jane, we're looking at, Janet, we're looking at Jan, we're looking at Ian, but we're not looking at Francis. So that's the people we're looking at the moment. However, we're going to filter our results a little bit more because we're going to use an and. Now remember, both of these need to be true to appear in the results. That's what and means. Both need to be true. So the last name has to be Smith. So if we take a look in here, so we had Jane and her last name Smith. So she should appear in the results. We had Janet and her last name is Smith. So she should appear in the results. Janet and Smith. So she should appear in the results. We had Jan, but her surname's Evan. So she shouldn't appear in the results. Then we had Ian down here, but his surname is not Smith. So he shouldn't appear in the results. So we should just have these three Smiths. Jane, Janet and Janet. So let's try that query. So copy that. Paste in the editor. We should just have the three Smiths. There we go. Jane, Janet and Janet. Let's take a look at the next query. Try and work our way through it. Doing the same thing again, and we're looking at the first name is like, well, as before. And this time we've got an or. The last name is like, well, this means any number of letters, 0 or more, before a G, and any number of letters after the G. So really that's saying somebody whose name starts and has an in after the first letter and has a G in their surname. So we shouldn't pick up the Smiths. Let's see if we can do that one. So now we've got to be careful because we're using an or this time. Okay, so that needs to be true, or that needs to be true. And if we take a look here, we've got Fred blogs. Well, that isn't true, but that is true. So I'm expecting to see blogs in my result. That is true. So I'm expecting to see Jane Smith in my results because either one of these needs to be true, not both. And again, that one will be in my results because that one is true, that one isn't. That one is true, that one isn't. That one is true, that one isn't. So I'm expecting to see all of those in my results. John, well, that fails the first one and fails the second one because there's no G in the name. Mike fails the first one, fails the second one because there's no G in the name. Fails the first one, but passes the second one because there's a G in the name. Passes the first one and passes the second one. So that should appear in my results. So Sarah and Ian should be in the results. And Francis doesn't appear in the results because we were only looking for a single letter before the AN. So Francis won't appear in the results, although she's got AN in the name, but there's no G in there. So we've got a few more students to return. So let's run that query. Now these queries are getting harder. You really need to think hard about how to word them. So if I run my SQL, there we go. We've got Fred blogs because he had the G. We've got Jane because it had the AN with a single letter in front. Same goes for Janet and Jan. Sarah is in there because she had a G in her name and Ian's there because both had AN after the first letter and add G. So let's look at the next query. We're doing the same thing again, first name. So we know we've got the single letter followed by AN, so the only one that's not going to be there is Francis with anything, but the year group must be more than 9. So let's take a look at our table here. Whoops, I forgot to take a look. It's and. So both must be true. Let's go back. So Fred Bloggs is out. I know they've got a G, but not both are true. Oh, wasn't looking for G anyway. Jane is in because we've got the capital J, the AN, and it's greater than 9, 11. Okay, so that's fine. Janet is in, year group's 10. Janet's in, year group's 11. Jan is in, year group's 11. John is out, no AN. Mike is out. Sarah is out. Ian is out. Although he's got AN in the first name, the year must be greater than 9, and it's not. It is 9, so Ian won't be in it. And Francis is out because we've got 2 letters at the front. So let's take a look at that query. You can see they're getting really hard to understand and work out. So it's going to take a fair bit of practice using wildcards. But to be fair, this is the hardest it's going to be. So there you go. And we've got Jane, Janet, Jan, and no Ian, because Ian wasn't greater than 9. So let's take a look at the very last one now. And we're just using mathematical comparisons. Must be greater than equal to 9 and less than 11. Well, think about it. More than or equal to 9, so it includes 9 and 10, which is less than 11, but doesn't include 11. So I'm expecting to get all the students who are in year 9 or year 10. Not or year 10, sorry, and year 10. So if the year group is greater or equal to 9 and the year group is less than 11, see what we get. There we go. Only those in year 9 and year 10. And we use the and condition there, the logical operator and. So both must be true. So it was true that anybody in year 9 was definitely less than 11. Anybody in year 10 was definitely less than 11. So both are true. So that is pretty much it. We've seen all the select, and we call them clauses, and all the filters, where, and all the wildcards using like. And we've seen logical operators working and or. That's going to give us a bit of a headache when we're trying to work things out. But that's it. Now, as an example, if you want to take a look at the back wall, there is a big select statement there, which will help you remember how to do them for your revision and your exam practice. Give it a go. Certainly use this, try it, but remember that when you finish the lesson and you go away, this student will go missing and you'll have to recreate it. In the next video, pretty much the last video I'm going to be making on this, I want to talk about data types a little bit and how we use them.